Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel, especially if this is your first time. It's Thursday, so we're going to talk semiconductors. Now, they've been under pressure lately, as you noticed with my video last week, going into the politics of it, as we go into the election, as we get closer to the election, what these candidates say will affect this industry. Currently, what I'm looking at are all the big names here in the semiconductor industry. I've got 25 stocks on this list here. So the first thing I wanted to do was quick test all of these. We're going to do the start date almost 2 weeks ago here on the 11th, last Thursday. That's when we got the confirmed up signal. Hit run test. So I know the talk lately has been domestic chip makers versus those that rely on companies such like TSM or Taiwan Semiconductors. We can see over the last 2 weeks here, NVIDIA down 10%, SMCI 21%, AMD 22%. So hopefully that you've gotten defensive on these positions. I've given you plenty of warning over the last week or two, whether utilizing star search, exponential moving averages, looking at the Qs, things of that nature. But as I scroll down here, there are some winners over the last 2 weeks here. That's going to be AEHR, Skyworks, CAJPY, along with ONDS, up 29%. So you see some of these smaller companies here are bucking the downtrend. But what I do notice also, look at this, INTC or Intel here down 6%. So even though they had a pop last week, a lot of the domestic chip manufacturers did, Global Foundries or GFS here at the bottom of the list, also down 2%. So tonight's video, we're actually going to go through all of these stock charts here. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I'm thinking on all of these positions. So if you got some time and you want to know a little bit more about these stocks here, big names like NVIDIA, ARM, Taiwan Semiconductors, Texas Instruments, stick around and let's get started. Starting off with NVIDIA, if you've seen my videos, you've been watching the channel, my cutoff here for NVIDIA is around 118, coming off this prior low from June 24th here. We see that was broken yesterday. However, today, look at this big bottom wick here showing that buyers are coming in to try to save NVIDIA. Now, the one thing I do like here, the valuation, this green line here has been on the rise. Currently, the value sits at 102.52. Anything within 10%, we think that you're paying a fair price for that stock. So within 10% brings it to about $112. Thus, if you are thinking about doing some bottom fishing here, the 3 is below the 8, price action below the 20-day right now. So we'll see if we get any follow through with this come tomorrow. Otherwise, anywhere around this green line here within 10% is a great deal on NVIDIA. This leads us to SMCI. We have a low today, a brand new 3-month low. We see price action pretty volatile over the last 3 months here. Sell rating just given. All the moving averages are not in our favor right now. So with this momentum to the downside, definitely not bullish on SMCI. If we take a look at our valuation, the stock is undervalued right now. The valuation comes in around $900. The stock trades just above $700. So I do like the company, even looking at its forecasted earnings per share on the rise right now. But with the momentum to the downside, I'm a fan of, let's wait on this. At least, if you're more aggressive, at least wait for the 3 to go back above the 8. And if you want to be more prudent in nature, getting price action above the 20-day exponential, just showing momentum to the upside, never a bad idea. But when you look at SMCI over the last month here, you see this level of resistance at 967. 3 touches on this level of resistance here, with the head popping out. So you can see a head and shoulders formation kind of forming here, it looks like, with a breakout. This would have been the neckline here around 757. We just got a breakout to the downside. So again, the stock is undervalued, great fundamentals, great forecasted data, but with the momentum to the downside, have some patience. AMD experiencing a lot of consolidation over the last 3 months. Breakout to the upside, we got a high here at 187.28. But look, my level here is at 150. We just broke out to the downside of that as of yesterday. All the moving averages not in our favor. Fresh sell rating. So again, not the best time to be entering AMD. The stock is still overvalued right now. The valuation comes in at 123. So, if you have some patience here, you can really probably get some great deals on some of these semiconductors. Just let the stocks come to you. As of right now, we do have a level of support here for AMD coming in at 132. We do see a little bit of buying pressure here right at the top of this zone. So just keep note of that, but still the momentum is to the downside. So just have some patience. Earnings per share on the rise here. Everything looks good with this company, slightly overvalued right now. I'd like to see valuation continue to rise, and if price action stays right around this level of support, AMD could become undervalued in the near future. ARM, one of my favorite stocks here, I talk about it a lot. It's been on the rise quite a bit here. A little bit of a pullback. We do see the high came in at 188.77. So if you're in this position, if I got you into this, I started talking about ARM when it was around $55. I mean, that's almost 4 bags in the making here if you got in around then. So again, protect profits, price action below the 20-day exponential moving average right now. So being defensive. We do see some buying pressure here right at this level of support. The semis today are fighting back. We do see a lot of these stocks who have bottom wicks here. Now the support comes in at 146.74. If you haven't already sold ARM, or at least started taking some profits of it, if price action continues to go down into the 140s, definitely get defensive. Now, if you've already taken profits of it and you're looking about getting back into the stock, if we get some confirmation or some follow through tomorrow or the next trading day, 3 above the 8, that would be ideal. Otherwise, again, have some patience here. Another big name, we got Broadcom, AVGO. Look, level support 144, trading at 151 right now. We do see a bottom wick here. So that's the, the pattern that we're seeing between all these stocks. The moving averages are not in our favor right now, but the buyers are coming in today. Tomorrow is the PCE data, so that's really gonna give a sense if there can be any kind of follow through either tomorrow or earlier next week, with hopefully better than expected inflation data, giving the Federal Reserve a little bit more ammunition to potentially cut interest rates. Earnings per share on the rise here. But the stock, my big concern here with Broadcom, the stock is greatly overvalued. We valued at 116, currently trading at 151. So that would be my big concern with this position at this time. Here we are, TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, making a lot of news lately. All the moving averages in a bearish manner. We got the bottom wick here. Again, another level of support. We're seeing a buying pressure at 148. So one day does not make a trend. Just because these stocks right now all have bottom wicks and buyers are showing in, we want to see some confirmation with this, some follow through, especially with this strong momentum we're seeing to the downside. And I have a feeling PCE data is going to play a big role in whether or not the semiconductors can really turn it around. You see the stock overvalued right now. We value the stock right around 144 where this level of support is. So if we get another touch around this level of support and the value continues to rise, again, you're going to be getting a fair deal when it comes to Taiwan Semiconductor. Let the market come to you. Don't rush the market. Here we've got Apple. I know it's not a semiconductor, but it's a big tech company. And a lot of these semiconductors, I mean, their customers, in essence are, the Mag 7, some of these big players, Apple, Google, Amazon. We can see here, the stock hit a high close to $240, $237. If I zoom into 3 months here, we see price action just crossed below the 20-day exponential moving average. So if you're in Apple, protect some profits. That's all I'm going to say here. I mean, the next level support comes in below $200, so that's another 10% to the downside. So you really got to ask yourself, is it worth the risk of giving that up? If you're in Apple for the longer term, I could see you holding it a little bit longer. Look at like a 40-day moving average or 200-day moving average to give you a better sense of longer term trends. Now the valuation here is just above over $140. You can see Apple greatly overvalued as it's made its run over the last few months here. Earnings per share on the rise. I mean, Apple's a big company, but right now with it just crossing below that 20-day exponential moving average and after the huge run it's had, just protect some profits. Don't get greedy. Use those profits, protect them so that way we can redeploy them in the near future. Here we've got ASML. I mean, beautiful lower left to upper right. But again, all the semis are in trouble over the last 2 weeks. Sell ratings are flashing here. Just broke this level of support. If we scoot back, comes in at $927.20, trading at 8. But again, we're seeing a bottom wick showing some buying pressure right at this level of support, 852. So if price action breaks below this 852, it would form a new low over the last 5 months or so. So just keep note of that. But again, ASML greatly overvalued, momentum to the downside, sell ratings just flashed. So not too enthused about this position right now. Here we've got ACLS, greatly undervalued. So you could get a great deal in this position here. The buy ratings have faded away into holds with price action on the decline right now. All the moving averages not in our favor. But we're seeing a big theme here. All of these stocks, they're right at level support, 119, bottom wick, showing buying pressure. Currently trading at 123. NXPI, I do like this company a lot. Undervalued. We're valuing around $340, trading at $250. You can see the buy ratings have transform into holds over the last few trading sessions. We just broke this level of support, now becoming a level of resistance here as of today, which is $251.92. We're currently trading at $252. So we're still in that resistance zone right now. The next level of support doesn't come in for $225. But my big concern, this forecasted earnings per share took a huge drop over the last few trading days. So again, NXPI, just not the time. If you're holding it right now, definitely keep this key level of support. If you break out to the downside of the zone, the next level of support isn't until 225. So you got to ask yourself, if it breaks below that, is it worth holding on to? Micron followed this nice trend line here, but as soon as it broke the trend line, look, if we extend it out, we got a nice retest on this trend line. Price action was using that 20-day exponential moving average as a level of resistance. We do see the valuation on the rise here actually over the last few weeks. I do like that. Buying $86, stock currently trading around 110. I do see some more downside action here. We got a strong sell rating on it over the last few days. Earnings per share on the rise, valuations on the rise. So fundamentally, great company. I'd like to see price action come down a little bit more. I think you can get a better deal on Micron. Here we've got VRT just hitting a 3-month low as of today. But look at this bottom wick here. Buyers trying to come in, pushing this candlestick. We might get a little body of this candlestick if buyers could push it up anymore. Currently trading at $79.10. It is overvalued right now. Sell rating, EPS on the rise. So as of right now, not too enthused about this. But if we can break above yesterday's open at $88.38, I'd be much more optimistic on this position. Here we have ASM International. Nice price action, lower left to upper right. I do like the stock a lot. If we take a look at valuation though, it is greatly overvalued, almost double what we value it. So I will take note of that. Now we are at a level support here at 655, currently trading at 659. A little bit of a doji candlestick here, upper and lower wick with a narrow body. But with price action still in the support zone, moving averages not in our favor. Again, not the time to be buying it. If you're still holding this position, just look at this level of support. If it breaks below it, be cautious, be defensive. Here we've got Texas Instruments. This is a domestic chip manufacturer. We got the last 3 months. Price action actually trying to get it back above this 20-day exponential moving average. 3 converging closer to the 8. So we can see a little bit of a pullback here, but not as bad as some of these other semiconductor stocks. The high is at 210. So if you want some confirmation, you got $10 away from it. Break this high here, just showing the momentum to the upside. Otherwise, if you're holding it, it is right at that 20-day exponential moving average. And because it didn't pull back as much as the other semiconductors, probably not in a rush to sell it. Here we've got AEHR. I do like price action getting back above the 8-day exponential moving average. 3 is above the 8 currently, above the 20. Undervalued, buy, went to hold. The EPS has dropped here. Took a big drop last week. But other than that, price action and being undervalued right now, I'm actually liking this position here, AEHR. We got a nice bodied candlestick today. We're not showing a bottom wick or anything. We're actually seeing a nice body. All the other semiconductor stocks are pretty similar with a long bottom wick here. But this position, out of all of the semiconductor stocks, seeing momentum to the upside right now, this is the one that I can actually get behind. Here we've got Skyworks. Again, when I did that quick test at the beginning of this video, this is one of the stocks that actually performed well over the last 2 weeks, a couple percentage points to the upside. While all the other semis went down, we can see that price action to the upside. The moving average is still in our favor here. The stock is overvalued and the EPS is on the decline. So from a fundamental standpoint, valuation, forecasted earnings, not the greatest stock here, but this semiconductor is still rising while the other ones are not doing so well. So I'm going to say, if, play the momentum to the upside here. As long as that 3 stays above the 8 and price action stays above the 20-day, you might be able to make a couple bucks playing the momentum here in this position. Here we've got Canon, a lot of consolidation over the last 3 months here. Here's the prior high. So if you're going to get in this position, I'd like to see it break above this high in order to see momentum to the upside. Next up, we've got On Semiconductor. The stock is currently undervalued right now, but with price action so volatile in the moving averages and a bearish note right now, I can't get too bullish on this position. Here we've got Intel. This was a big pop that we saw last week. However, all of those gains given away, the 3 crossed back below the 8. and price action just went back below the 20-day exponential moving average. The only thing it's got going for it right now, the stock is undervalued at this time. Now this stock is lower than it was 3 months ago. Fresh sell rating. EPS remains just about the same as it was 3 months ago. So I'm just going to skip this one. I'm not a big fan. Here we've got UMC, the other fab manufacturer coming out of Taiwan. We've got the sell rating here. All the moving averages not in our favor. But look, we've got several levels of support resistance right here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some consolidation. But if we can break above this top red line here, break above this level of resistance at 768, then I'd be more excited buying UMC. Here's Ondas, the big winner from the quick test I did earlier. You can see price action on the rise over the last 2 weeks. We can see resistance coming around 132, price rejected. However, 3 is above the 8, price action above the 20-day exponential moving average. So as far as momentum play, as long as price action and these moving averages remain in a bullish manner, I do see potential to make money here. Here we've got Marvel. This stock has done a whole lot of nothing over the last 3 months, greatly overvalued. Therefore, I'm just going to skip it. We've got Lattice. This stock is trading lower than it was 3 months ago. Sell ratings across the board here. Earnings per share dropping, valuation dropping. So this is not a stock I can get behind if you're holding this position here. You know, protect profits is all I'm going to say. I'm not a financial advisor. You got a level of support here, just above $50. If it breaks that, definitely get more defensive. Now here's the other big domestic manufacturer. We've got the high coming in. This is the big breakout at $61.98. But just like Intel, all of those gains have been given away. Currently trading at $52. We got several levels of support here, pretty close. So if it breaks these levels of support, anything below $50 definitely would be getting defensive. The stock is greatly overvalued and the forecasted earnings per share on the decline over the last 3 months. Ooh, we just covered 25 of the top semiconductor stocks across the market. You can see for the most part, over the last 2 weeks, these stocks have been pulling back. We did the quick test. I showed you which 4 stocks are bucking this trend. And for the most part, those 4 stocks are still showing signs of momentum to the upside, even though they are weakening a little bit. Definitely can be more bullish on those 4 positions rather than the semiconductor industry as a whole. Now, I know a lot of individuals have emotional ties to names like NVIDIA, AMD. Again, just protect profits is all I can say as the market pulls back. But what we saw today with a lot of these stocks, a lot of bottom wicks showing buying pressure. So tomorrow is the PCE data, and tomorrow is going to be the key to see if we should be actually buying the dip right now when it comes to semiconductor stocks. Wait for the follow through. Let the trade come to you. Do not rush the trade. Now, if you found the video informative, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way I can keep you updated. See you guys next week. Bye.
Is your portfolio in need of a refresh? Want to learn the best tips and tricks for buying the right stocks at the right time? I'm Brian D'Amico, a senior investing coach here at VectorVest, and I'm inviting you to our Portfolio Challenge live stream. You'll learn step by step how to weed your portfolio of bad stocks and replace them with winning stocks. You'll walk away with a daily plan to manage your portfolio with complete confidence. Go to vectorvest.com/PC to register and download your free workbook. Mark your calendar for August 7th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss this.